Hello, Jersey Championship Wrestling fans. I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. March Madnezz, that's with two Z's, not two S's at the end. I watched live on their for free on their YouTube. I was not at the show, but I did watch to see how this turned out. And the show opened up with a tag team match as we saw Young, Dumb, and Broke, Ellis Taylor and Charlie Tiger face Arcadia and Too Hot Steve Scott. Now, Too Hot Steve Scott, I remember him years ago. He was a fan of the crowd at Jersey All Pro Wrestling before he became a wrestler back in the mid 2000s. And Arcadia, also, I first saw back in the mid 2000s. Great wrestler. As Arcadia and Too Hot Steve Scott were coming to the ring, Arcadia had a Kodak disposable camera. I used to have those many times when I would get pictures with wrestlers. I didn't know those babies were made anymore, since Steve Scott's all about taking selfies and all. During the matchup, Tiger gets his hands on Steve Scott's phone and he puts it down the crotch of his gear. And he goes to give it back to Steve, and the crowd is chanting, "Sniff it." Nobody want to take a sniff of something that was down a dude's crotch? Come on. The end of this match came when Ellis Taylor pinned Arcadia with this fireman carry into the side effect, which Matt Hardy is a move he's known for. Next up, we have a women's match as we see Shazza McKenzie go one-on-one with Edith Surreal, or is it Surreal? A lot of ground chain wrestling to start the match. Eventually, Shazza does her 10 kicks on Edith while she's caught in the ropes. Shazza has a split-legged stunner. Edith eventually recovers and wins the bout with her Venus flytrap submission hold. The third matchup, we saw Impact Wrestling star Steve Macklin go one-on-one with Cole Radrick. And the fans are chanting Mr. Deonna Purrazzo. For those who don't know, Macklin is engaged to her. Match gets underway, but they eventually get out to the floor. Radrick attempts a flip off the apron. Macklin catches him over his shoulder and throws him into a bunch of chairs in the crowd. And after they're about to go back to the ring, Macklin conveniently, or basically had some consideration, put the chairs back in place. They came back to the ring, and Macklin... Actually, I forgot what else went on, but Radrick hits 3 springboard ace crushes on Macklin and pinned him to win the match. And after the match was over, Macklin raised Radrick's hand. Next up, we saw another singles match. We saw Yoya, Y-O-Y-A. He took on one-on-one with the prize, Alec Price. At one point, Alec put Yoya in a human torture rack and used him as a human dart into the corner. Yoya was eventually placed on the stage. Yoya did a tope Kohilo off the stage onto Price. The end came when, back in the ring, Price hit a Gotch-style buckle bomb and then hit a running kick to the back of the head and pinned him to win the matchup. Next match, we see Bam Sullivan go one-on-one with Slade. And Slade came out to the old Hollywood Blondes theme. That was, of course, when Steve Austin and the late Brian Pillman were teaming up in WCW. Early in the match, Bam hits Slade with a spine buster. Bam power slammed Slade through a door set up in the corner. Out on the floor, Slade uses a trash can. Then they're going to the crowd. Slade trashes merchandise tables. Slade hit a choke slam on a door set up on 2 chairs. Eventually, the end came when Slade attacked Mikey McIndro, who was singing in the crowd, and a few others I didn't recognize, and they were constantly ringing the bell, and obviously the match got thrown out. Slade goes over to the commentary table, which is Vita, or is it Veda Scott, who women's wrestler who was with Ring of Honor in the past, Billy Dixon, and Nick Knowledge, who I remember from the early days of Jack Sabbath's, well, not Jack Sabbath's ICW anymore. And just as Slade was about to do something, Bam attacks Slade, and then somebody from the locker room come out to pull him apart, and Bam's in the ring, and he gets the microphone. He challenges Slade to a match with no rules at Planet Death, which is part of the collective, which Game Changer Wrestling is holding the weekend of WrestleMania in Dallas. Next up, we have a six-way scramble match as we see Big Vin versus Brandon Kirk versus Declan Grant versus Dylan McKay. That's Dylan spelled D-Y-L-N, not D-Y-L-A-N, as the late Luke Perry's character on Beverly Hills 90210 was. Marcus Mathers and Azrael. Very good match these guys had. Early in the match, Azrael put an octopus hold on Mathers. McKay hits a rewind Rana, backwards Hurricane Rana on Mathers. Azrael, I forgot how it happened, but McKay ended up, some kind of sequence took place where McKay used a Destroyer on Mathers. Well, can't really call it Canadian Destroyer anymore. Just everybody seemingly doing it. Azrael hit the South of Heaven on McKay, which Kenny Omega calls the One-Winged Angel. Declan Grant used the Saitoplex on Brandon Kirk. Big Vin really impressed me in this matchup. Brandon Kirk used a chair on Vin, but it had no effect. He chases him out of the ring, and they're going at it in the crowd. And then they had a split screen a la WCW. They showed Vin and Kirk brawling in the crowd while they show what else is happening in the ring. Az hits an ace crusher on McKay on the apron, and the end came when Mathers hits a 450 splash on Declan Grant, enabling Marcus Mathers to pick up the win. Next up was the Grim Reaper go one-on-one with Charles Mason. Early in the bout, Mason gained the advantage, and he attempted to pull a Terry Funk by using a plastic bag and putting it over Reefer's head, but the referee, I think, stopped him from doing that. Reefer hit a top rope dive to the floor. Later on, he hit his trademark second rope Russian leg sweep. A swanton bong. Mason kicked out of that. Mason did a choke slam. Then he puts a chokehold on Reefer, but he manages to get out of that. Reefer worked with the chronic crossface until Mason bit his fingers. Mason hit a spear in midair, putting Reefer through putting him through a door set up on two chairs. I forgot who, but somebody bumped into the referee. Mason hit I know Nova called it the Kryptonite Crunch, but I don't know what most people call that move. Mason puts the plastic bag over Reefer's head until Dark Sheik, who's going to wrestle Charles Mason at the collective weekend, he hits the ring and uses a chair on Mason. And then Dark Sheik puts the plastic bag over Mason's head, and then Reefer hit a splash from the top rope. The referee wakes up. Grim Reaper picked up the victory. And then it was time for the main event as Billy Starks went one-on-one with Impact Wrestling's virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who of course is also, I believe, still the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. A lot of mat work to start. Starks eventually hit a snap German suplex. She hit a Gory Guerrero bomb. Eventually, she used the Kobashi Plex. Purrazzo turned the tides with a pump kick. Starks replied with a super kick. Purrazzo hit the Queen's Gambit, which is that snap cradle pile driver or Gotch style pile driver to pick up the win. And before the match actually started, people were chanting to Peraza, "Fuck your husband," or your husband sucks, and eventually Macklin comes to the ring and hugs Peraza and raises her hand in victory, and I mean, I don't know why they want to, you know, want to do the guy when he's engaged to her, but that's how JCW March Madnezz ended. It was a very good show. They actually ran straight through, no intermission. It was a 3 o'clock start. It was over by 5:30, maybe because of the fact they ran straight through without intermission. I sure hope to see JCW live next time they come to Ridgefield Park. But again, they're going to be in Dallas for WrestleMania weekend as part of Game Changer Wrestling's The Collective. But they said they'll be Jersey Championship Wrestling will have a show on Sunday, May 1st in Atlantic City, New Jersey to present May Flowers. Hopefully you guys will come back to Ridgefield Park, New Jersey in the future, and hopefully I will be there live to experience the action.